Welcome back everyone, it's time to go balls deep. And guys, Attack on Titan is really about to end now! But we all expected it to conclude soon. The final chapter will apparently be released in the May issue of the Shonen magazine, which will be released on April the 9th. This means that we only have around 3 chapters left, making the final chapter 139 according to this news. I would have thought that Isayama might have ended it on a whole number, let's say around 140, so who knows. Either way, if there is only 3 or 4 chapters left, will the series conclude in a way that we all can be satisfied with? Well, we have to realize that 3 to 4 monthly chapters is around 120 to 160 pages, and to be honest, that's more than enough to end any story. However, a lot of the details might be skipped. For instance, like the origin of the spinal cord like creature that Ymir stumbled upon when she fell into the hole of that gigantic tree. All the theories that the Attack on Titan community came up with, like comparing the tree with the Norse Mythology, Yggdrasil, and the body of the water being the well under Yggdrasil called the Well of Urd, or also known as the Well of Fate, might never be addressed. Even the spinal cord like creature was akin to Nidhogg, the serpent like dragon under Yggdrasil. And let's not forget that in the Norse mythology that the actual name for Ymir was inspired by the Norse mythology, as the Norse Ymir was also the very first giant to exist. This giant Ymir was created by a liquid substance known as ether. By the way guys, I'm butchering all of these pronunciations, so please forgive me. But either way, this ether-like substance also links back to the pool or well our young Ymir fell into. But even though there are so many comparisons, in the end, only Isayama can really comment if he really did get inspired by all of this. But let's be real, he 100% did. I don't believe in coincidence. Regardless, if you want me to dive deep into this Norse mythology and all its potential influences in Attack on Titan, then let me know in the comment section down below. But for this chapter review, I'll be breaking down some of the new information we learned about Ymir and go over how Eren as a medium manipulated the whole outcome of how things ended in this series. And yes, when I mean manipulated, I'm talking about going far back, even till the time Eren was a little boy. Before he obtained the Titan powers, he was able to influence his younger self to make the actions he did. And as we get into the chapter analysis and review, I have Sammy joining me, and we really appreciate your support and understanding of getting new hosts here and there, as it does help us out immensely. Our Ballsly community is without a shadow of doubt the best community in anime. Like damn, our Discord server has over 11,000 members. For those of you who yet to subscribe and join our Discord and social media platforms, what are you doing? You're missing out. And don't forget to smash that like button so we can continue going balls deep. Okay, the chapter starts off with the Aldeans and Marleyans witnessing Falco's new Titan form, flying in for the rescue. They also notice that there are many people on board Falco. Annie, Gabi, also Falco who's actually, that Titan, who picked up Reiner and Mikasa from the battlefield last chapter. Reiner then asks them, what are they doing here? And looks towards Annie for answers. Man can't be asking the kids now. Annie's supposed to be responsible for them. Annie then wastes no time to give her excuses and explain that the Azuma Bito's ships had sunk because they could not withstand Falco's transformation. Despite not being sure of whether or not Falco could actually fly, Kiyomi still let them have a go at it. But this got me thinking, why the frick did they not just transform on the land or push the boy off onto the sea as he could transform there? Because honestly, it doesn't exactly make sense risking the boat like that. But I guess in the end they were just in a hurry to stop the rumbling. But then Gabi expresses quite clearly how much she wants to repay Kiyomi's kindness by helping them on the battlefield. In response, Reiner reminds Falco of their promise to protect Gabi from harm, and to be honest, I just don't care. I just want Gabi to go. Annie then asks a lot on how Armin is, before quickly changing it to a question about Pieck. Pieck, the member that's from her same side. Come on girl, get your priorities straight. But before she could finish her sentence, Mikasa sees right through her and answers her question about Armin, telling her that Armin has been captured by a Titan, and that the Titan should be by the tailbone. And after hearing this, just by the look of Annie's eyes, you can tell this girl is going through some next thought process. She's like, no my babe, you better be okay. Calm down Annie, it's the end of the world. Either way, with a determined look, Annie says she will get Armin back. Gabi then asks about Pieck's condition, which wasn't answered earlier. Reiner responds by telling her that Pieck's by the skull. To give context to the situation, Reiner further explains the original plan, where they were trying to blow up Eren's nape, but could not set off the explosions due to the Warhammer Titan's interference. Captain Levi gets involved in the conversation, saying, "We'll do both," where he continues to explain that they will split into 2 different groups, one for rescuing Armin and the other to apply pressure at Eren's nape, and then after Armin's rescue, execute, they will use this colossal titan to set off the explosives. However, from hearing all of this about Eren's nape being exploded, Mikasa looked distraught by the captain's suggestion. Levi then immediately understands why, and then explains that they are in no position to consider Eren's life in front of so many others. Before Mikasa could finish her sentence, Connie steps in telling her that they would have died if it wasn't for Falco. The group still cares for Eren and wants to save him as well, but the situation just won't allow it, as they're facing the Founding Titan's power. They have to kill Eren, and he grabs Mikasa's shirt to get closer to her face and tells Mikasa that all she has to worry about right now is saving her baby cake's Armin. Mikasa then seems to agree to it, although not so happily. Gabi then comes in trying to give her 2 cents. You know, our girl's feeling a bit left out. She then finally mentions what she saw when she blew Eren's head right off his body. She lets the gang know that something jumped out of Eren's spine. It looked like a shining centipede or something, and it's connected to Eren's spine. And then Gabi continues to speculate if that centipede looking spine is actually the true form of the Founding Titan, and then even when they kill Eren, it might appear again, so the fight may not be over until they manage to find a way to completely stop this magical alien spine centipede thing. Now again, as I said earlier, personally I'm wondering how Isayama is going to explain this spinal-like creature, considering we only have 3 or 4 chapters left. Without going into the timeline theory and paradox, the spinal-like creature might not get a proper background it deserves. Like, it might be left as just that. Maybe something that was part of Earth from time memorial. If it is related to Nidhogg, which again would mean it's just another creation on Earth, and according to the myth, Nidhogg is described as flying out from beneath Yggdrasil during Ragnarok, presumably to aid the giant's cause. But in the case of Attack on Titan, it's literally creating the giant. As I said, we will dive into this in more detail in another video. There are extensive theories out there already in Reddit and even posted to us on our social media platforms by you guys, and I'm sure there are a lot of you guys who are confused, but trust me, it makes a lot of sense. Anyways, enough with the tangent, let's get back to the chapter. We see Falco flying over some soldiers while heading towards Eren, seeing them head into battle despite how hopeless it may seem, inspiring them to stand their ground and help even if they can barely do anything. But behind them, we see a group of people approaching them. One of the soldiers first thinks that they are refugees. However, a soldier notices how they have marks of an armband on their left arms, and quickly realizing their identities, the Marleyan soldiers take arms with their rifles towards the group of Eldians and say, "You're Eldians, aren't you?" Feeling all frightened and scared, all of them gather around and prep their guns towards these Eldians, not learning from anything that just happened or the speech which was given to them not too long ago. But the Eldians in retaliation prep their own rifles right back at the Marleyans. Mr. Leonhardt then steps in and tries to de-escalate the situation, asking both sides to hold their fire, as for they are only there to ask for help to tend their wounded. However, a Marleyan soldier responds that they are in no position to help them out, and then demands the Eldians to reveal what they were really there for. After hearing this, the Eldians ask Mr. Leonhardt if he realizes now that the Marleyans aren't going to be any help, and they should just take advantage of their numbers and greater battle experience to overtake them, as it was the Marleyans that would send them to the front line for their sake. So from their past oppression from these oppressors, they can now finally fight back. The tension between the two sides continues to rise as neither side backed down from the standoff, but the silence was broken when more Marleyan soldiers appeared demanding the Eldians to put their guns down. But Mr. Leonhardt notices amongst the guns directed at him was Driver, looking very reluctant to shoot. As Mr. Leonhardt looks at him with his darkened eyes, walking towards the Eldians was none other than Secretary Muller, who without even uttering a word just clocks his pistol ready and stares down at Mr. Leonhardt and the other Eldians in front of him. In the next panel, we see the Falcon Titan and the gang flying away from the Marleyan camp, but they notice the gunshot firing as a fight breaks out between the two sides, making Jean be like, "Bruh, these guys are still at each other's throats." Once again, this kind of makes you realize Eren's plan actually makes sense. For those of you who do not know our theory of Eren's Requiem, then please watch our other reviews where I explained it many times before. But a short summary is that because Eren can actually see the future and the past, he knows the best actions for the best result. He understands the psychology of these oppressors and how they think. This rumbling is needed for humanity to understand that oppression and shifting blame on others will always end in a disaster. Eren knows that Mikasa, Armin and his gang of friends will end up stopping him. In that process, the world will actually change for the better. Once Ymir is set free, Eren will take her place in the realms of the paths. The rumbling will cease to be, but the disaster left behind will still remain, and only coalition and harmony will put things back in place. This is what Eren sees, and he cannot go half-hearted for this. He has to go all out. But coming back to the chapter, Reiner suddenly clocks that projectiles are hurling towards them as these archers titans around the Founding Titan pull back the bolts and fire straight at Falco. These Archer Titans again might be ancient titans similar to that of the Warhammer Titan during the olden times, once again showing the level of flexibility in creation the Founding Titan had in manipulating its subject, to the point of even adapting the 9 Titan shifters to any circumstance. Either way, Falco then preps to speed up as he enters into a free fall, dashing past the arrows heading straight towards the Founding Titan. And for all of this, all that was going through my mind was, how is Falco able to master flying in his first go? Is this something ingrained in his mind of being a Titan? Just like how Eren became the attack Titan, he instantly knew how to fight. But regardless of that, Jean and Reiner gets ready to jump, but not before telling Mikasa to go save Armin while they try to get to the Founding Titan's head. Gabi then assures Reiner that they will return back to them as soon as they get Armin back. Jean was the first to leap off with Reiner shortly after him as he transformed mid-air, landing right on the spine of the Founding Titan. Mikasa, Annie and Connie looks at their friends potentially for the last time as Connie shouts out begging, "Don't go dying on them," to which Reiner internally replies, "Yeah, same to you." And to be honest, this interaction just highlights how a common goal can bring 2 opposing sides together like this. Look at the bromance Reiner is having, man. Honestly, I'm kinda jealous.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
As Reiner readies himself to challenge the Warhammer Titan's attention, destroying the heads of the Titans around him, Jean just goes on swinging around, heading straight towards where Pieck was lost, praying that Reiner can hold on until he can detonate the explosives Pieck wrapped around the Founding Titan's neck. However, this wasn't gonna be easy, as more Titan crept through the Founding Titan's ribcage, trying to protect the Warhammer from Jean's intervention. But whilst the Warhammer was distracted looking back at Jean and Reiner behind it, Pieck pops out of the Titan's body, running straight down the Warhammer's pole, stating it must be nice to having 3D maneuvering gear to move about as she bites the thumb off, triggering her transformation, and then leaves behind the Warhammer Titan, ripping right into the nape of it. Oh my god, Pieck is actually kind of looking badass, and you know, a little bit cute now.
Alright, calm down, Yusuf. We know why you think she's cute. You like her gimp form, don't you?
نرجع حق الأخبار شوي.
Oh my god, don't expose me, Samantha!
It's okay, Yusuf, don't worry, we're not judging you. Anyways, so we catch a glimpse of Jean looking a bit sweaty, a bit tired. He's about to be overtaken by the Titans, but Pieck comes in and is like, "Don't worry, puppy, I got you." She tears out the nape of the Titan near Jean, which gives man some breathing space. But, you know, the Gimp Titan, Cart Titan, gets ganged up on by all the weird fodder Titans, forcing her to press the eject button out of her Titan form. While they begin munching on her leftovers, Jean shouts out, worried she might have died, but she's like, "Nah fam, don't worry, don't you know I got some crazy stamina and fighting skills, so don't ever doubt me again." Pieck is then able to transform yet again. At first I was like, nah, this is impossible. Then it was like Pieck was talking directly to me through the page, saying, given the endurance of the Cart Titan, as long as she isn't taken out straight away, she can keep fighting and transforming, even if she has to try over 100 times. Okay girl, I see you. So Jean believes in Pieck and continues to make his way towards the head, but this man is not getting any rest as more Titans continue to appear before him, causing him to retreat between the ribs below the Founding Titan's main torso, where the rest of the Titans can't fit through. Pieck begins to feel doubtful, because even if she could transform 100 times, is there any point being that they are up against so many enemies? All while Jean is left hanging literally in the Founding Titan's torso. We then get a crazy zoomed out panel of Eren's Founding Titan on the move, and Bertolt's Colossal Titan looking like a gigantic spider. He looks genuinely unnerving. Annie notes that using Bertolt as a puppet like the rest is unforgivable, but Mikasa's like, "Be quiet, girl," as she spots the Titan that took Armin. The two argue over the course of a panel because Annie can't tell which one Mikasa is talking about, causing Annie to yell, "Mikasa, you need to take this more seriously. My man's life is on the line." You know, I enjoy how while the entire world is ending, mass genocide's going on.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
You see how Amma tries to put some moments that have the potential to make the audience laugh. But then Connie's like, "But your guys' argument, can't you see only one of them is running away?" And we are finally able to see the Titan that captured Armin. It looks like a okapi. I personally thought it was a pig when I first saw it, but an okapi is a type of giraffe with zebra markings that lives in the Congo. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to everyone on Twitch who came on and actually gave this information. But I honestly don't know why this Titan is here. It doesn't look like it would really be any of the other Titan shifters, but maybe it has the potential to be a type of beast Titan, although its head is the only beast quality it has. Honestly, I'm fairly certain this Titan is a representation of Ymir, because when we think back to Ymir's past, everything began after she freed those pigs. The moment she got ratted out and King King Fritz sent those dogs on her, she wound up falling into that creepy tree opening and the weird spinal cord parasite attached itself to her, which started her path of becoming the first ever Titan. So ultimately, without these pigs, she wouldn't have experienced any of this. Those pigs could also be a representation of freedom to her as well. Seeing them caged up pushed Ymir to open the gate, setting them free. Deep down, this is something Ymir always wanted but never achieved. Once she became a Titan, she subjugated herself to enslavement once again to King Fritz, maybe because that was the only place she knew to go to. Anyways, coming back to the chapter, the three run to quickly save Armin as Annie transforms. Gabi says that she'll support them from a distance, but Levi says, don't even bother, kid, since more than likely she'll be unable to kill any of them from this distance. Levi begins to ask himself where Zeke has gone to, but then realizes he wouldn't be of much use anyways in his nerfed state. Levi continues to break our hearts with his inner thoughts as he recalls how he won't be able to accomplish his last order to Erwin, and that their role may have ended in retaking Shiganshina district. Levi goes on to say that he has no regrets about choosing Armin over Erwin because he had the same look in his eyes as you. Damn, Levi, this is why we all love you. You've been loyal since day one. Well, after this depressing revelation, it's right back to the action. Annie is fighting with Mikasa and Connie to stop the Pig Titan and retake Armin, but Annie notes that it's going to run away towards the head. We then get to see some cool endgame-like combos where Mikasa latches to Annie's hand with her 3D maneuvering gear, and Annie throws Mikasa forward as hard as she can. Mikasa flies forward and appears to be about to attack the Titan when two other Titans go out of their way to protect it. Mikasa screams, "Out of my way," as she slashes the Titans, but another Titan runs up to continue to protect the Okapi. Mikasa goes in on it, attempting to slash it. However, this ends up being a fatal mistake as the Titan is a past iteration of the armored Titan. Things suddenly look really grim for her as both of her swords break, but Annie swoops in and decapitates the armored Titan. Annie stares in horror as the Pig Titan runs to our spidered Bertolt. This is as far as they can go since they are now surrounded. Mikasa and Connie land on Annie as they prepare themselves to fight the hardest fight of their lives. We then move on to Armin, who is staring down at something with wide open eyes, seemingly filled with fear. It's revealed to us that he's actually staring at his own body, asking why his body won't move. He starts to beg, saying that if it doesn't start moving, everyone's going to die. He starts to list everyone off as we see them and what they're currently dealing with. Reiner, who just took a spear from one of the Warhammer Titans, Pieck, who's still fighting with the Jaws Titan, Jean and Connie, who are trying to use their 3D maneuvering gear to get away from the Titan, and Mikasa and Annie, who are killing one Titan after another. All of them are going to die. Armin starts to call himself a piece of trash, a useless idiot, for not waking up. He curses his own body. He hates it. He was given so many expectations and responsibilities, and yet he wasn't able to actually follow through on any of them. His body has done nothing but betray him, which actually isn't anything new for Armin's character. We've seen Armin time and time again question and doubt himself. Even Commander Erens saw this and tried to reassure Armin by giving him the duty of commanding several times. He grovels onto the ground in disappointment and frustration, but Armin comes to realize something. The ground, it's actually made out of sand. Armin, in his usual Armin fashion, starts to think about everything logically before coming to a logical conclusion. He is still having thoughts despite the fact that if he had actually died, no oxygen would have gone into his brain and would result in him not being able to think at all. He realized that this is not death, not him being unconscious either, but in fact it's one of the paths. Armin had just been in the mouth of a Titan, so the only way he could have known about everyone else's condition is that they're connected somehow, and that somehow is via the paths. Since all Eldians are connected through the paths, in the worlds of the paths, he might have a role to play. Armin turns around and sees Zeke building a sandcastle or something. Zeke has probably spent several millennium inside of the paths. At this point, it would be surprising if he had not gone crazy somehow. It makes me wonder if Eldians inside the worlds of paths can actually create stuff, and if they can be something other than Titan. Armin kneels down to reach the level of Zeke's face and greets him, and the chapter ends with Zeke saying, "So, Ymir ate you too." And there we have it. That's the end of the chapter. A lot of you guys were in the streams and were suggesting that Zeke has replaced Ymir to continue building the Titans in her place, which could be a possibility. But for now, I think the safer option is to assume Zeke is just a prisoner and Ymir is still in control over the world of the paths. Yes, she is let out into the world through Eren and the Founding Titan power, but the role of the Overseer is still hers to bear. At the end of the day, the theory about Eren's Requiem can still come into play. However, if there is a real enemy, would it be the spinal cord creature Nidhogg? Also, does it have a mind of its own? Does it have an intention of its own? Is it to bring the end of days, or is it just a simple-minded being, which is part of the world in the great beyond that's trying to simply exist? Well, hopefully Isayama will answer all of these questions, going more into this creature and its lore. But for now, that's the end of this chapter. We're planning to do a video explaining Eren Zero Requiem and Master Plan to save humanity, so make sure you guys have that notification bell on. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and until then, I'll catch you guys till next time.